Good morning guys, and welcome back to another video. Now this video is going to be more of a standalone video from my Girl Talk series. So I wanted to do a standalone video just to give you guys more of a life update, body update, what I have generally been doing in order to gain the 12 kilograms that you may have seen in the thumbnail. It's actually a year ago now that I was sitting at 42 kilograms. But I was actually just a week out at this point from the English Grand Prix, and then I was just about to go compete at the Arnolds because I won the English Grand Prix and got an invite to the Arnolds, which is a competition in Barcelona. I was a very low weight, and now I have not competed since the British final, which I placed top 6 in the British finals, which was always my aim since I started competing. That was in October, so it's been October to now we are in August that I have steadily gained the weight. The question you guys want to know is how I've gained the weight, and to be honest, from October to December, Christmas time, I went through stages of binging after my show and still having quite an unhealthy relationship with food. I would still maybe restrict myself and then on one-off occasions really like raid the cupboards, but just like to the extreme where I felt really uncomfortably full. And that is really natural after a show. I think I've talked about it in other vlogs. You might want to check out another prep series before where I've talked about it's really common for people who compete to do that. But after Christmas, I decided really that I didn't want to do a competition. I then decided that I may want to do a competition, but I think it was probably for the wrong reasons. And I started tracking my macros at the time. Now since then I went on and off tracking my macros and then just decided to intuitive eat and just live my life. And it was only when I stopped tracking macros originally and I went to intuitive eating for a few months, and I thought this is amazing because food isn't on my mind all the time. I eat to be sociable when I go out. I don't stress about the restaurant we're going to. I make healthy choices. I don't think if I've been out on the Wednesday I can't if I get invited out on Saturday, because it's like one cheat meal or off-plan meal when I can't track a week. And that was really good for me. I had a really healthy relationship with training as well. I stopped doing massive amount of cardio. When it was springtime, I started to just walk outside and that was my cardio, and I really enjoyed that, which I still incorporate now because it's just healthy for my mind as well as my body. But in terms of weight training, I just carried on steady weight training. So I normally did an upper lower split, and it's only the last 3 weeks of this Girl Talk series where I've started tracking my macros again, just because for the sole reason that I just want to measure my progress much more, and tracking macros is a more accurate way and an easier way to control that. I didn't massively put on the weight in a really short amount of time because I kept training in my love of training, and I went into health and fitness because I wanted to be healthy. And I feel like actually by intuitive eating I always selected the best options. So if I went out, I wouldn't go for the burger and chips. I may do that occasionally, but I normally went for the salad, or I normally went for like the protein and vegetables. So I think the intuitive eating and actually fueling my body with a lot of clean sources and then still training, that really helped. My shape really remained because of that. So the things that have changed from then until now is that I no longer have a negative relationship with food. I know that not tracking every blueberry I'm eating, which I was doing at the time, isn't going to be detrimental to progress. I know that now. I know that also that there isn't just a one way fits all to get where you want to be. If your diet and your training plan doesn't fit into your lifestyle, You don't have to do that. I know that now, but because I was so one track minded, I was so focused, so anything that was written down I wanted to follow because I thought that was the only way. So now that I know that that isn't the only way anymore. The third thing, and I am absolutely not saying this with all competitors, but I was quite unhappy at that stage in my life. Why I was focused originally is because I had a really horrible end to a relationship. It was not very nice, and I didn't have many people as a support mechanism around me at the time. I definitely didn't really have a social life, so the prepping and the way of controlling my food and training actually kept my mind focused. And sometimes you do find that with competitors. By no means I'm saying everyone who competes is unhappy, but I know for me, being super strict and tracking everything, it allowed me to have some kind of sense of control in my life, and almost because I was so busy with that, it didn't allow me to think of some of the problems that I had. And I've never shared that before. It kind of making me feel anxious putting that out there, but that was the other reason. So that is a brief summary of what has happened in the year to get to where I am today. But the second part, I just want to whiz through some of your questions. So Rosie asked me, how many cheat meals do you have a week and how often do you drink alcohol? Now, I wouldn't say the word cheat meal because it is like a cheat on your diet. What I like to do every day is to factor foods into my daily macros. So I eat different foods every day, whereas I used to eat like chicken and rice or chicken and almond butter for every single meal. I know that it is the total macronutrients that count the most. So if I want like a little bit of chocolate, I just factor it into my daily macros. And how often I drink alcohol, when I went to Scandinavia, I was having a glass of wine a night, but normally I'm not a big drinker. It depends on the occasion. If I go out, I sometimes have a few glasses of Prosecco or a few gin and tonics, but sometimes like once a week, sometimes once every 2 months. So it just depends completely. So Ahmed asks, how long have I been lifting for? Well, first of all, I would say I've been lifting for about 3 years, over 3 years now. And have you ever competed before, and will you ever return? Yes, obviously I've talked through my competing experience before. Will I ever return? At the moment, no. I think that is like way far off what I want to do and what I do want to do with my body. I've got so many plans before I ever thought about putting all my energy into competing again. So no, at the moment. So Arwin Fitness says, what would you say the biggest lesson that you have learned is by going from doing cardio mainly to more resistance-based training program? So I always did cardio before I started really weight training, and I normally did like 30 minutes cardio on the cross trainer and saw no progress. What I would say definitely is weight training really alters your body composition. It also makes you feel strong and powerful and healthy. It allows you to build some lean muscle mass, but to do that you have to be eating right. I really like to incorporate cardio mostly for my mind. I love to walk outside and listen to podcasts, but recently I've been trying to do a lot more HIIT training just to actually make me feel more healthy and fit, because sometimes when I do HIIT I feel really knackered, so I'm just trying to build up my level of fitness. So Kevin asks, how did you get into fitness and how long did it take you to achieve your fitness goal? So I got into fitness through an ex-boyfriend, and he was a personal trainer at the time, and I was on the bike reading a magazine, not really working hard at all, and he came up to me and said, what are you doing? Do you want a personal training session? And at first I really declined his offer, but I gradually kind of came round to the idea because I fancied him at the time, and he introduced me to weight training. He was a bodybuilder himself, and I got into it through that. So it kind of all stemmed from there. The second part of his question was, how long did it take you to achieve your goal? I suppose one goal in my fitness journey, first of all, was to place at the British finals, which I did last year. But I would say my goal now is to just live a fit and healthy life, and every day it's more like a mental thing, like feel more confident and powerful, strong, healthy. And my goal at the moment is to be able to inspire and motivate and eventually help others. Andrew asks, have you ever had any injury setbacks? Now, I had on my left IT band, which is, I'm gonna show my leg. It's like there, it runs all the way up your leg. I don't actually know what happened to it. I don't know if it was just really, really tight, but I had a lot of physio on it, but it meant that for about a year I couldn't squat. And that's why I say to people that there are so many exercises that you can do for legs if you can't squat properly. Because squatting really involves a lot of good form. So if you are finding that you cannot squat properly, there are so many exercises that you can do. And I have filmed lots of legs and booty sessions for other vlogs. So if you don't know what to do, make sure you go check out another vlog. Eleanor Marie asks, how many days a week do you exercise? What exercises are the most effective in your opinion? Well, I probably exercise 6 times a week, and then on my rest day I just do cardio, which involves like a light walk. The exercises that I would say that are the most effective, depends really what body part you're training. I love to train shoulders. I love anything to do with like a lat raise or a press, because I like having quite, I don't know, defined pointy shoulders. In terms of leg exercises or bum exercises, I love like sumo deadlifts, so anything wide stance. At the moment I'm love doing on the leg press like a wide stance into a narrow stance, a superset. With back, it's always got to start with a pull down. Lisa asks, when did you decide to eat well and change your habits? What were the first steps to changing your mindset on food? Now, the majority of the questions I've got about is sustaining motivation, and what I always say is have a goal in mind that's really short term. So you may have like a long term goal, for example like getting in a bikini on holiday in 6 months, but at that moment on a Saturday night when your friends are all eating from the buffet, or you know, on their 4th Jaeger bomb, you're not going to think 6 months down the line I've got to be in a bikini. But obviously if you try and diet 2 weeks before, you're not going to be in the shape that you want to be. So I would recommend really having like a short-term goal, almost like a weekly thing, to keep you on track, and really dig deep in your mind and find out if it is what you want to do. Because it's like giving up smoking. Like my dad said when he gave up, he said, I never wanted truly to give up before I gave up, and when I decided, right, I'm gonna give up, that was it. He never touched a cigarette in his life again. So actually you may think, sorry, you hear that, it's rain, it's pouring down right now. It may be that you have to get a personal trainer for a set amount of time to help you reach your goals. It may be that you check in with a friend or have a support network there to help you achieve your goals. But find out what it is, write it down and get it done. Anne Marie asks, how do you deal with negative people, and what do you hate about fitness? Negative people. I don't know if Anne Marie actually thinks negative people that are around in life or negative people on the internet. Negative people on the internet and negative comments that I receive, whether it's like DMs or messages, or say even like YouTube comments that are quite negative, most of the time I let it wash over my head. Normally it isn't about criticizing my appearance at all, because I'm just like used to it. It doesn't matter, doesn't bother me anymore particularly. But she also asked what I hate about fitness, I'm guessing it's like fitness on social media, I think, so I'm going to answer it that way. What I don't like the most is people knowing that a product does not work and still being paid off the company to promote it. I just think that is so wrong in so many ways, and I probably could have earned a lot more money so far if I didn't have the morals that I did, but I am almost glad that I have kept reserved and kept back, because it has allowed me to be sponsored by companies that truly believe in me and I believe in them, and I use their products and things all the time in my life, so I can be straight up honest and hold my hand on my heart when I say that. So I am going to leave this little story time there for today, guys. I know it has been like a little bit of a sit down thing and me just chatting to you, but I really hope you found some of the points that I've made interesting. I hope you've learned a little bit. If you have, make sure you subscribe to my channel, make sure you like, and I'd love to hear any feedback or comments. Please be nice. You don't have to be, but you know, anything is welcome in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you're not following my Girl Talk series, or if you are, I will be continuing it with episode 5 in a few days time. So for now, guys, I will see you soon.